Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we're going to rehouse a spider from Vietnam, and that is the Cyriopagopoeus vonwirthi. Now there does seem to be a little bit of confusion as whether these are Cyriopagopoeus or Haplopelma, but I think we're going to go with Cyriopagopoeus, as there just seems to be a bit of a minefield about these, and to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure which way it's going. But I think we will stick with Cyriopagopoeus. So, for the purpose of this video, we are going to rehouse this adult female. Now, these guys really are not to be trifled with. This is not a beginner's spider. They are really quite full on. They're a powerful spider. They're a fossorial spider. And they really have got quite the attitude. So, we need to be a bit careful with them. Right, so what we're going to do, we are going to set up this 30 by 30 by 30 cube. Now, this is a Komodo style cube. This one's made, in actual fact, this one is made by Reptizoo. But it's practically a copy of the Komodo. So they are the same. Now, I keep getting asked, you know, where do we get them from? And most of these enclosures I purchase secondhand, or I just get them online. We also use Southern Aquatics, which is a store local to us. They have got an online shop, and you can get your stuff from there. They do a real good selection of exos and everything, and they're all a lot cheaper than anybody else's. So check them out, Southern Aquatics, worth a look. Right, so we are going to fill this up. Now, as we said, this is pretty much a fossorial spider.
I'll just say that one, okay, for Southern Aquatics.
No, it's not. No. We don't get sponsored by anybody. In actual fact, it's something that I would rather steer clear of. We have been asked in the past by different vendors and that if we will sort of showcase some of their stuff and bits and pieces, and I'm not really keen on it. I think it's in a lot of respects, it's the quickest way to lose friends, because I'll be totally honest with you guys, if I don't like something, I just don't use it. And sometimes, as we've seen, you know, we get stuff coming onto the market and bits and pieces, and I look at it and I just think what utter rubbish that is. So yeah, I'm not keen on promoting anything unless I know it's really, really good and I like it myself. If I'm happy to use it myself, then I don't mind mentioning it, but I don't really want to get into the realms of advertising for someone else's thing. And then of course you always run the risk of, you know, insulting the person that wants you to look at their stuff. So we're not going to do it. We're not going there. Right then, so what we're going to do, we're just going to fill this up. And as you can see there's a fair bit of depth. We want this to be up in the back. So we're going to make a bit of a sort of a hill like this. And then what we're going to have a piece of bark that's going to run pretty much the full size of that. Now you'll see that fits quite snugly across there and also across the back. It really fits in well. So we're going to just drag that forward a bit. We're going to sit that there. What we want is our spiders, we want the spider entrance to be around about here somewhere. We're going to use this little bit at the back here to stick a plant in. So that'll be there for that. So what we'll do is we'll move that. Get our plant. We've got a little plant here. This will do for that. Now this is another Himalaya peperonia. It's amazing how many different faces this Himalayan peperonia has got. It's literally like, yeah, it's literally one of them plants that's got about 10 different plants that all look totally different, but have all got the same name. So it's really quite cool. I don't really understand why people get het up because we don't always know the names, when literally they use the same name for bleeding everything. Right. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to use one of these palms. I really like these palms, And another really interesting thing, actually, we've had in some of the questions is people going, oh, you need to be really careful, Dave. These palms grow to 10 feet. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. But I'm pretty sure our life is not at risk. And I think if it starts getting a bit too big, we'll just move it out. You know, it's not the end of the world, guys. You know, we're getting far too serious about this. You know, this is just about making something look pretty. That is really all it is. Nothing more sinister than that. So we're going to stick that in there. Get that down there like that. Now another thing, I've had some really interesting comments lately, and it's made me think a little bit. I'm not quite sure where they're all sort of coming from, but we got another comment on one of the other videos saying, what was the point of putting that plant in there because you covered the whole of the bark? Well, when we look at our enclosures, one of the things that makes our enclosures look nice is the fact that we have a difference in views. Sometimes you get a better look if you partially cover something up rather than seeing the whole thing all the time. So that is why we put plants sometimes in the front. And yes, it does cover the view a little bit. But when we put it up on the shelf and we look at our enclosure, it looks like we're looking into a bit of a wild scenario.
I've just got to say.
No, we're not looking at any other tanks.
Oh, okay.
No. We've had this before. You're not looking at other tanks. So we are, so yes, this is all part of like designing our enclosure and making it how we want it to look, because at the end of the day it's literally, you know, this is going to be something that's sitting in your home, so you want it to look nice, do you not? All right, now we're going to stick a bit of moss in here. Now any of you guys that are going out collecting moss at the moment will know it's all very dry at the minute. This is tinder dry. So once we get it in our enclosures and we get a bit of water on it, it will liven up again and it will be nice. So it's not a big issue. We can literally, we'll get a little bit of moisture on it and it'll all start livening up and it'll look lovely again. Alright, so we're going to cut this bit here like this, and by putting it around our plants like this, we're just helping some of the moisture stay on the roots of them plants. Now another interesting thing that's been cropping up is people talking about humidity and how often, I keep getting asked this, how often should I spray my enclosure and how often should I, you know, do this, feed that, all these different things. There is no black and white as to how often you need to be doing anything. You need to look at your own situation and decide whether you need it. So one of the things that we've been doing much more of in terms of humidity within our enclosures is we keep an eye on the soil colour. So we want it looking like this sort of colour because that's got a certain amount of moisture to it. And then how we can increase our humidity and what have you is by watering our plants. So then we get asked, how often should I water the plant? Well, if that plant was on your windowsill, how often would you water it? You would water it as and when it dried out or as and when it needed it. So think along the lines of that. Think of like the care of your plants, and this in turn will keep your humidity at a reasonable level for 90% of the spiders that we keep in the hobby. You know, it's no more difficult than that. It's,
you can almost use your clay balls to help out.
You could use your clay balls, yeah, but we're not doing that, are we? So we are going to keep it, because this is a fossorial spider, we don't need clay balls in here. The clay balls come in useful for water control if people are a little bit too heavy-handed with the water, which is where they really come in. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to open this, just dig a little hole in here we are going to pull this spider out, and I'm hoping she is going to make her entrance there. That's the plan. That's what we're hoping for. So what we're going to do, we are going to clear this. We're going to put the water bowl down here. Now this water bowl will end up getting moved, because when she starts turfing this out, it's going to fill it up. So we'll put it there for now. Pop a bit of water in there, and we'll leave it there for now. And then once she's finished decorating and doing her stuff, we can move it, give it a good clean, and set it up in its permanent sort of home. We're going to give a good bit of water down in here, and we'll do the same up here. Always good to give your plants a really good water when they first go in. So that is that. So now let's have a look at this spider, because this really is a fabulous spider, and I can't stress enough to you that you really do need to be careful. Now it's sat in here. This is what it came in. So many spiders get transported about like this, and we leave them in these until we're ready to actually move them over into their permanent home. So if you want to come in and have a look at this, I'm going to open this up. Now these guys are a fossorial spider, and they really are very, very defensive. Now at this stage now, she is just sitting tight. She's got no reason to actually get upset by anything at the moment, because we haven't touched her. So she is just going to sit there like that until we actually move her. But what we'll do is we'll have a good look at her first, and we'll see a little bit of what's going on. Now if you look at this abdomen, it's really, really well marked. I can move this up this way a little bit. Try and move back and use the zoom. And then we can have a good look at this. And we'll see the rings on the legs as well. Really, really strong wings.
For me.
Yeah, you need to do like that.
That's better.
So we've got to be a little bit careful with her and just see how she behaves. And what we're going to do, we're going to touch her in this box at the moment, and we're going to see what sort of mood she's in. So we'll have a little look now. So what we're going to do, we are literally just going to touch the front of her. I'm just going to touch her foot. See what sort of response we get. Yeah, she's asleep. Look at that. After all of that, she's going to be really, really good. So I think what we might do, we might go straight for a transfer. I thought she might have just sort of shown us a little bit of herself. Sometimes when they go like this, they can sit like this, like they've got no care in the world, and then they will literally fly into action. Right, okay, she's going to be quite steady. So what we're going to do, we're going to place the lid back on.
Oh.
Just while we move up. There you go, see she moved then. So we're going to move her just over here. The reason we keep the lid on is because we don't want her tearing out of the box. Now I'm going to literally...
Wait. Let me get a nice cut, just in case she disappears.
We can see the rings on the legs are really quite strong. Beautiful looking spider. It's funny how many of these fossorial spiders really are gorgeous looking things, and yet they spend most of their lives underground. Right, so we're going to try and we're going to touch her now. Always be prepared to drop the box if necessary. What we're going to do, we're just going to tickle her very, very gently to come out sideways. You see how we're maintaining contact here. what we want to do is lift her bum up a little bit. There we go. Now, see that leg's come out now. We're trying to keep her as flat to the floor as possible. And this way, it will help to keep her happy. That's it. We've still got contact with the brush and we're moving the box at the same time. There we go. That's the box out of the way. Well, she was a good girl. Look at that. There we go. Just open her up a little bit. There we go. We'll get her on.
Turning so I can get it.
Which way would you like to go? There we go. I can't believe just how calm she has actually been. Now, as we were saying, these are pretty much a strictly fossorial spider. So they will spend the vast majority of their time underground. And then by maintaining them on a decent food regime, we can encourage them so that we see them more in the front of their burrows. So hopefully, once she's found underneath that log, she'll go in there, build her own home, and she'll do like a silk-lined tunnel. And then all of the underneath of that log will end up being silk-lined. And that is where she will live. So we can maintain the moisture in the soil by watering the plant that's in the corner and the one in the front, and then that water will permeate through the soil and keep the whole of that underground sort of system that she builds. It will keep it all in a nice moist sort of substrate, which will keep her happy. Now, food wise, we're looking at this thing will take on pretty much anything. They really are, once they get going, they're quite a ravenous species of spider in terms of food. So we have to be careful. We don't want to overfeed her. We don't want to get in too big. I thought she might have gone for a little bit of a walk. We might be able to tempt her to actually open up a little bit. We'll give it a try, just see how she goes. We'll see. See, what we're doing now is, although we're actually moving her, we're not giving her any direct threat or anything like that. So she's staying really, really calm. We're not actually causing her any discomfort at the moment at all. There we go. She is such a pretty spider. Very, very pretty. In terms of temperature, we're looking at keeping this around about the mid 70s to the low 80s. That'll be absolutely perfectly fine for this spider. They do really, really well at them temperatures. Now, obviously,
a bit of light, just see if that's all
obviously coming from Vietnam. There we go.
Yes.
Let's show her up a bit more. Here we go. She's on the move now. So obviously coming from Vietnam, it's very, very humid and very warm. Look at that. She would go and sit down by the only dirty bit of glass, so we can't get a photo. But yeah, what a wonderful looking spider. So this is one that we will, she will stay here now, and we will look to trying to breed this later on. Once she's settled in, we'll start looking for a male, and we can see if we can't get an egg sac from her. They really are quite an underrated spider, but as we said in the beginning, this one has actually shown us the quiet side. They can be really, really full on and very, very defensive. I've had these in the past where they've knocked the lids out of my hand, where they're very powerful spiders and really quite a full on thing. When one gets upset, you really know about it. So if you get one, be very, very careful. Don't take any chances with it. You know, always use your catch cups and things like that to move them around. Do not ever be tempted to stick your finger in there or try and handle one of these guys. It will end badly for you. So yeah, give them the utmost respect, and you will be absolutely fine. Right. Well, I think that's it for our Cyriopagopoeus vonwirthi. What a fabulous looking spider. Right then, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget, actually, while I remember, don't forget, this coming Sunday, what is it?
BTS.
It is the BTS, the biggest show in the UK. And this is a show that's, you know, we're very fond of. I have been going to the BTS cool back in the days when I had hair on my head. So it was a long, long time ago. Yeah, when I was a youngster, we went there, and yeah, it's been fantastic ever since. And it's one of our favourite shows. We will be there. We'll have our tables there. We're going to have some really, really cool spiders actually available, including some celadonias. We will have some celadonias, some Sabar reds, all sorts of things. We've got a real mixture of stuff. We've got a really, really good array of spiders coming for the BTS, which we've been holding on for. So, yeah, come and see us, say hello, and you'll have an absolutely wonderful time there. Everybody there, pretty much all the vendors you can imagine are all there. It really is the very best show of the year. Fantastic show. So, don't forget, come and see us at the BTS in Warwickshire this Sunday, 18th of May. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you soon, guys.